So guys, Nnamdi Kanu is so pained with Buhari despite his death. And despite the death of Buhari, Nnamdi Kanu won't forget what Buhari has done to him because Buhari has caused so much pain to Nnamdi Kanu. Because Nnamdi Kanu still been in prison up until this moment is because of Buhari. Buhari has done so many things to Nnamdi Kanu that Nnamdi Kanu is still angry and is still lambasting towards Buhari even in his grave. Well, this particular man that you can see here ranted and spoke about Bola in this particular video. I'm going to be playing you the full session of what this man actually said about Nnamdi Kanu and Buhari.
Let's put sentiment aside. Let us put sentiment aside and wear our thinking cap and then give ear to the voice of reasoning. Since 2017, Nnamdi Kanu began to shout at Buhari.
Well, you all need to listen to what that particular man actually said. But for the sake of carrying everyone along, I'm going to be displaying 5 things Buhari has done to Nnamdi Kanu. The first one is arrest and detention in 2015. In October 2015, Buhari's government arrested Nnamdi Kanu in Lagos upon his arrival from the UK. This was what Nnamdi Kanu passed through in the hands of Buhari. In 2015, he was arrested. But this one that he was arrested in Kenya in 2021. Let's continue. He was accused of treasonable felony for calling for the secession of Biafra. He was detained despite court orders granting him bail early on. 2. Detention despite court orders. Buhari's administration ignored multiple court orders that ruled Kanu should be released. This raised serious concerns about violation of human rights and rule of law. Buhari abused the rule of law and also abused Nnamdi Kanu's human rights and held him in detention despite the appeal court acquitting him. 3. Military invasion of his home in 2017, Operation Python Dance. This was one of the things Buhari did to Nnamdi Kanu. He invaded Nnamdi Kanu's house illegally. Let's read. In September 2017, the Nigerian army launched Operation Python Dance 2 in the southeast. During the operation, Kanu's home in Afaruku, Abia State was invaded. Nnamdi Kanu fled the country after the raid, claiming that the military attempted to assassinate him. And indeed, some persons lost their lives in that particular invasion of Nnamdi Kanu's home. And this particular invasion was spearheaded by Buhari. 4. Rearrests and extraordinary rendition in 2021. If you have not forgotten, Nnamdi Kanu was illegally rendited from Kenya. He was arrested illegally, even as a British citizen, and sent back to Nigeria secretly. Let's read. In June 2021, Kanu was forcibly brought back to Nigeria from Kenya in what has been widely described as extraordinary rendition. No formal extradition process was followed. This act violated international laws and Kenya's sovereignty. And finally, 5. The continued detention without final judgments. After the 2021 rendition, Nnamdi Kanu was kept in DSS custody in Abuja. Look at what Buhari did to Nnamdi Kanu. Despite despite the appeal court acquitting him, they still kept him in detention. And Buhari gave this particular orders to be carried out. This is why Nnamdi Kanu is still angry with Buhari up until this moment in prison. Let's continue. Even when the Court of Appeal ruled in October 2022 that his rendition was illegal and he should be freed, Buhari's government refused to release him. Buhari's government, I continue to read again, Buhari's government refused to release him, underlined. Buhari gave the orders that Nnamdi Kanu should be held in detention and should be released. Look at what Buhari did. Now he's dead. Who is going to free Nnamdi Kanu? He was the one that arrested Nnamdi Kanu illegally in Kenya. And he failed to give the orders to Tinubu that should release him. This man is innocent. Let's wrap it up. The government appealed the judgment to delay his release. After the appeal court acquitted Nnamdi Kanu and vindicated him, Buhari's government appealed the judgment and said that Nnamdi Kanu's release should be delayed. And up until this very moment, Nnamdi Kanu is still in the DSA's detention. Well, without wasting much of your time, watch this video and listen to what this man actually said in this video. And as you watch this video, do well to like this video and subscribe to this channel, because in this channel, I bring you everything that is trending and everything you need to know.
Let's put sentiment aside. Let us put sentiment aside and wear our thinking cap, and then give ear to the voice of reasoning. Since 2017, Nnamdi Kanu began to shout that Buhari is led, Buhari is led. And everyone was taking him for a joke. And Nnamdi Kanu gave Nigerians 3 challenges, which he did. That now the news has planned that Buhari has finally passed out. Gave them 3 challenges. 1, the first challenge that Buhari should come out openly and grant a public interview. I don't think if that very one was met. 2, he said that there's a discussion he had with Buhari, that the very man ruling today should come out and tell the Nigerians what he and Buhari had, the discussion that 2 of them had, an agreement that 2 of them had, that if the person ruling be able to tell, then he, Nnamdi Kanu, would drop the agitation of Biafra. 3, that he, Buhari, should speak his language, his mother tongue language, which is Fufude. These 3 challenges, Buhari and Nigerians never met up with it, and today they are telling us that Buhari is led. Now ask yourself this question: why the sudden confession by Garba Shehu? Why the sudden confession, now confessing that the story of Rudent attacking the presidential villa was fabricated by him? I know that when Buhari came back, they removed the door because the fingerprint of the president, Buhari, couldn't access the code to unlock the door. They have to pull the door and refuse it. Why did they do that? Why do they do it? There are so many questions begging for answers over this man's leadership and his death. Like I said in one of my videos, in my other page, I've made video on this before, say that when this man leaves office, in the space of 1 year to 2 years, the story will change, that he's dead. And that is what just happened today. So let's just ask ourselves this question: why did Garba Shehu now confess that he fabricated the story? Why? Because if the contract that they have with the so-called Buhari is not over, Garba Shehu wouldn't have come open to make this very publication, because definitely it will raise a lot of dust. But he have seen that, hey, it is over, nothing can be done to him, nobody will come to attack him or come after him, so let him let the cat out of the bag. And definitely he let the cat out of the bag. And this evening now, the news is all over that Buhari has passed away. You see, Nigeria is a country where sentiments overshadow the truth. Now, have you asked yourself, why all this while that they have been charging Nnamdi Kanu in court, charging him of treason, charging him of terrorism and everything? Why didn't they add that he declared the president dead while the president was still alive? What stops them from adding that as a charge? Asking him to prove his point beyond reasonable doubt. Or even Buhari, when he was still alive, coming to court to say, man, you say that I'm dead, prove yourself, prove your point beyond reasonable doubt. And that point, that very charge was never added in the charges against Nnamdi Kanu. It's a point for you to ask yourself questions. If this man was wrong or right. And today he's no more. Eh? Nigerians, what a reason. Ejile bread newly and all Gary.